Today is this video is going to be a wrap-up of our day one of vacation to Walt Disney World. How late is it? It's like a little after 11.
I think it's closer to 11 or 12. It's probably closer to 12.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's that late or not.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, Kevin thinks it's that late. Anyway, we've had a very long day. I think I tried to talk to you all when we were in the airport and stuff like that, and sometimes I wonder if you could hear me or not. But basically, everything was fine with our first flight.
Thought it was way too early.
It was very early. Everybody, we set our alarms. I know you heard me say that for 4 in the morning. We left the house at 4:30. And everything went fine with the first flight.
Yep, got on, was on time and everything.
The second flight they had already told us from the get-go this morning.
Yeah, while we were in the air getting there 3 hours before we were supposed to get it, they bumped it half an hour delay.
Yeah, they already knew because of problems with
something, who knows?
People coming in, right?
Oh, that's right, it was
staffing issues.
Flight crew.
The flight crew. It was going to be a half an hour late. So we already knew that. So we, basically what I was trying to explain to you all was that they had put way too much.
Well, they switched planes.
Right.
They switched planes. We were supposed to get one kind and we switched over to another kind. The plane we got switched to was fueled for a longer trip.
Yes.
But you can't fly with too much fuel. You only fly with what you need. So they had to pump fuel out of the plane. Then they had to balance the fuel in all the tanks so it's used evenly, so it's not unevenly distributed. So that took forever.
And then they had to.
And then they de-iced, which took another half hour.
Yes.
It was a long process.
We sat there for a long time, and I'm so glad that we didn't have a connecting flight because.
No, we just ended up being here.
Yeah, if you had had a connecting flight, you just would have missed out because there was.
It was like an hour and a half late.
Yeah.
Maybe we're close to 2 hours by the time we got out of there and got our baggage. It was 2 hours.
But then we rented. They're no longer doing the Magical Express,
which is a shame.
Magical Express was absolutely phenomenal. If you don't know,
I would have paid for it. If they'd said, "Hey, we got this service. If you'd like to take advantage of it,
we're just going to start charging for Magical Express," we would have paid.
I would have done it in a heartbeat.
It was a bus system, basically. They picked you and your luggage and your whole family up from the airport.
Yeah, you didn't have to pick your luggage up even. They would get it.
They got it, put it on the bus, and when you got to the hotel, your luggage was waiting in your room for you.
Well, later on, within like 2 hours.
Okay.
It was there, yeah.
But they would bring you from the airport. You wouldn't have to worry about anything, and then at the end of your trip, they take you back. Well, now Disney's not having anything to do with that. So you are in charge of scheduling your own means of transportation. So I had told Kevin, I said, people are using this company called Mears.
Which is the typical.
That is who took over for the Disney Express. It's the Mears company. So when Kevin was buying our plane tickets...
No, when I was booking our rooms
and
reserving things through Disney, it was an option. Do you want ground transportation? And yes, of course I did.
We knew. We had talked about it. We were going to use Mears.
So I said yes, and so it asked me for the time and put the time in there, and it charged me and everything. Then I never got any notification at all from Disney or Mears saying that I was booked, reserved. Hey, we got your reservation. Here's your confirmation number. And nothing.
We paid for it, but we never got any information.
So I emailed them, and I actually got an email back. The person, I can't remember her name, was something classical, like Beatrice or something like that. She called me because I emailed, and then she ended up calling me, and I talked to her, and she verified everything was fine. She put it all on the computer, put our flight information in there so they would have it because they didn't ask for that on the website. She took care of all that stuff. So it worked in the end, but the website was really bad.
But what I don't understand is we got picked up in a huge black van and it was just the two of us in this van.
It was like a private car.
Whereas the other Mears,
It's called Mears Connect.
Mears Connect, and
Is
it
it a
was a
bus?
huge bus like Magical Express used to be, like a city bus. That's how big this bus is, like one of those big tour buses. So I'm wondering, did we pay more? Did we pay the same?
We probably
Because
paid more.
we were in a private van versus.
We probably paid more.
But how could you have avoided that?
Just not pick ground registration on the website.
So if somebody's watching this,
Investigate how much the Connect is first.
okay,
Go to Mears Connect site first, and then see how much it is to
Okay.
go, and see how the schedule and all that stuff. If it's cheaper, then do it that way.
so you would go to the Mears site and not do it through Disney
If the price
if
was,
it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because I don't care if I'm riding a bus with other people.
right. No, we wouldn't have cared at all.
No. I could care less. That's how it used to be. It would be
But,
nice. As long as they were okay with me, the baggage being late, as long as they had another bus there to pick me up, because it was our baggage took 4 hours.
That's the thing. That's the other thing. So our baggage, we waited. It was probably an hour, wasn't it? Do you think it was an hour?
It seemed like an hour.
I think it was an hour. I think we waited probably an hour to get our
We
luggage.
waited at one line because it was on the sign that it was going to come to this, let's say it's baggage claim 30. We waited there for probably half an hour at least.
Mhm.
And then somebody said they switched over to the other one, so they'd actually switched it over to 31. I didn't tell you that. of
Nobody
course.
told us. If you didn't know, you would have still been standing down there at 30
Yeah,
like a
looking.
dud waiting for your luggage to
I
come
did
out.
keep looking at the board, so I would have noticed it at some after a while, and I was it's not on there anymore. And then went
Right.
and checked the other one. I would have
Right.
noticed it after a while, but yeah, it was.
But this isn't just Kevin and Tammy complaining. This is everybody that had come from Detroit was you have a plane full of people, and it was a full plane, standing around waiting for their luggage, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Kevin and I have been on a lot of planes, and we've never had to wait this long for
It was pretty
luggage.
long.
And
And there was a flight from Atlanta that the girl was waiting for. She was waiting too, so it wasn't just our flight; it was other flights.
It
too.
was just, it took a long time. During this trip, Disney has come out with a new plan called Genie.
G plus.
Okay, they've gotten rid of, Disney's taken a lot of things away. They're charging more money, and they're taking a lot of things away that people really loved. So they had a fast pass system. The fast pass system was terrific. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically where you can get a pass and you can cut to the head of the line, and you could do that like twice a day, any
Some
time
people
of
can figure out how to
day.
do it 3 or 4 times. I don't know how they did
Yeah,
it.
we
but
never did it. We only were able to do it twice a day. But any time, well, no, it would give you a time.
It would give you a
It would
time.
give you a time.
Yeah, but it was free.
But it was free, didn't cost you anything. So now they've moved over to
Genie
this
plus
Genie
lightning
Plus.
lanes.
Mm-hmm. So you want to explain that?
It's the same thing. You
But
just
they're
pay for
charging you.
it. And you have to set up your times. You have to schedule your times, and you may not. Your times might be not until 3 or 4 o'clock. Even if you
Right.
schedule first thing in the morning, because you can't do them too early. You can only do them like
Right.
the day of.
So let's say Kevin and I go in Hollywood Studios and we want to ride Tower of Terror. We get on there for the Genie. If we were to buy Genie Plus, we get on there. It might tell us you're not going to have an available seat until 5 o'clock this afternoon. And literally, you've paid all this money for this pass, and it is what it is. So we have decided during this trip, we didn't buy the Genie
Yeah, we're not
Plus.
going to.
We didn't buy it, and we're gonna be able to tell you. People wonder if it's worth it or not. We're gonna be able to tell you if it's worth it or not, because it was gonna be very expensive.
It's very expensive. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but it was more.
It was
Let's put
more.
that way.
It was gonna be a lot more added to the
But-
total.
But before, even when we did Fast Pass, we only got 2 a day
Right.
anyway.
Right.
And the rest of them, we stood in lines, just like everybody else.
Yeah,
does.
we're used to standing in
So,
line. So why would we pay so much money and then not get anything
Yeah,
out of
I
it,
just-
really?
I just don't know. I have heard that it's an advantage if you're only staying for 1 day and you want to do as many rides as you can. I've heard that it's good for
Right.
that. But I don't know, because it counts on if you're scheduling things, if you're not getting them until way later in the day, of course you'd still get the fast pass for 3 or 4 o'clock.
Right.
You
would be
or the lightning lane.
you're assured of getting a seat.
Yeah.
But you're also assured if you stand in line.
Yeah, it just takes longer.
It just takes longer.
But if you get the lightning lane, if you could get like 3 or 4 lightning lanes in a day, those are times you don't have to sit in line for a long period of time. So you can stand in other lines that you don't have lightning lane for.
And we could add that on. We could still add that on right now.
You can pay per lightning lane if you want to. We can just pay per ride.
You can? How much is it per ride? That's interesting.
It's like anywhere from $5 to $20 per
Really?
ride. So if you got to, let's say you really, really, really wanted to ride Rock and Roller Coaster or whatever it's called,
Right.
Aerosmith,
Right.
and the lines were just huge.
Right.
You could get on your app and go lightning lane for Aerosmith,
And you can pay
and
for
you can
it.
buy it, and then you do it that one line.
Do they-
You still have to schedule it.
I was gonna say, do you still have to
You
schedule
still have to schedule it, and if they're out, they're out.
Okay, so they only have enough for a certain amount of
a
people
certain
per day.
number of the day.
That's another. So we'll tell you how we felt about not having Genie Plus,
Yeah,
how
we'll
we
see how it
felt about
works.
just staying in line. Another thing that they've changed, and I want to make sure that I mention, is we had bought our airline ticket, we had reserved our room, we had paid for our park tickets, and once we did all that, they said, okay, you're not finished yet. And now you have to tell us which parks you want to be in on which
have to reserve
days.
them.
You have to reserve your park. So, for example, we might have wanted to go to Magic Kingdom on Monday. They said, oh, no, you can't go to Magic Kingdom on Monday.
It's full.
It's already full. Pick another one. Wow. That was just absolutely shocking, because
never used to be that issue.
No, because that is what happened on one of our days that we're like, okay, we want to go to this park on this day.
We were going to do Magic Kingdom, something else like Epcot, and then Magic Kingdom.
Right,
And it was either Epcot or Magic Kingdom on the day we wanted was full.
right.
So we ended up switching them. So we're going to Magic Kingdom twice in a row.
Twice in a row, 2
which
days
we would
in a
have
row.
liked to have split them.
Yes, because it's an active day. It's a
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah, you wear
active
yourself
day.
out.
And so we were hoping to like put a lesser park in the middle.
Yeah, because Epcot's just a lot for us. It's a lot of walking around and shopping and stuff. Honestly,
Yeah, leisurely shopping.
yeah, and
Yeah.
going through a few rides. We don't ride some of the rides at Epcot though.
No, we don't ride some of the rides at all of the parks, I would
That's
say. I'd say there's some rides at every single park that we just choose
true.
not to ride.
That's true. Magic Kingdom's got that water ride. I don't think we've ever been on.
No, and I'm not a water ride person. And people have asked
I don't want
me.
to get wet.
No,
I don't even want to take the chance of getting wet.
No, because I can remember Kings Island. Kings Island is in Cincinnati, Ohio. It still is there. But we would go to Kings Island, and you'd get on the water ride, and then you'd get off, and then your legs would rub.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
you rub your raw.
you would
sometimes.
rub in between your legs, that meaty part of your leg up the top. You would rub yourself raw because it
Now,
was
skinny people wouldn't have that problem.
Yeah, if you're real skinny, yeah. I just know that back in the day, I had a horrible
See, I never had a
time.
problem with that because I wore big baggy shorts anyway.
Right.
The clothes always dried out, but your shoes are squishing all day long.
Yeah.
If you're wearing tennis
Yeah.
shoes, they're soaking wet, and you're walking around in funky,
Yeah.
wet, smelly tennis shoes all day long.
Yeah. So we're just
So
not.
I just never liked to water.
No, we're not water ride kind of people. So anyway, that's about. Oh, and we got in. We looked at the room, and we didn't even change clothes or anything. We immediately got on a bus and went to Disney Springs. It used to be called Downtown Disney, which I liked that name. Now it's called Disney Springs, and it is so much bigger than it was
Oh, they got a
before.
lot more stuff. More confusing too.
Yes, but the
Because
good,
it used to be like a crescent. It used to be just like a crescent, and all the stores are pretty much just laid out in that one
Right.
line. Now it's like 2 lines with like bridges.
It's
connecting
everywhere.
them, and it's
they do have directories all over the place.
they
though.
do, but they're not oriented correctly. Like if I'm standing here looking at a sign, I want it turned the direction I'm pointing. So if I know I'm here and the store I want to go to is up here, I know I need to walk straight. or I need to go right or left. Instead, they're all oriented the same way, and you've got to go like, okay, because what did I do with those people that were standing there? They were trying to go to the same place we were. And
The Lego store.
And I said, okay, it's the opposite way of AMC. AMC is there, I can see it. So if I'm gonna put that to my back, I know I need to go there. But on the map, it was like over here. Instead of there, it was like over here.
So
And
the
it's like,
directory doesn't help.
it's confusing unless
It
you've
is
got some really
confusing.
good markers to go by.
Or unless you go all the time. I told Kevin,
Yeah.
you know, if you lived here, if you were to go all the time, and they also now have huge, massive garages. So
Yeah, parking garage.
there's two of them. There's like a green one and an orange one. And we just haven't been since they built those. When we last went, there was no parking garages at all.
It's just a big parking lot.
So if you rent a car, then if you want to drive yourself for some reason, you can. There's plenty of
Tons of
parking.
parking.
Yeah. So then we,
But it was also dark when we were trying to navigate some of it.
yeah,
So we were trying to navigate the place at night too.
Right.
So you couldn't really see landmarks very well.
we had never been though back in the day when we went to downtown Disney, when it was called downtown Disney. We never went at night. We always went during the heat of the day, and it was so hot. And we never stayed all day because it was just so hot. Tonight, we really stayed a good amount of time. We went
It
to
was
all
nice.
the stores I wanted to go to because the sun wasn't beating down on you. Now, it was extremely crowded.
This is very crowded. But it's a
Extremely
Friday
crowded.
night.
But it's Friday night. They had live music in several different
At least
places.
three or four.
Yeah, it was really cool to hear the different singers. If you wanted to sit there, it was free. You could sit there and just enjoy the live music
Yeah.
if you wanted to.
We're looking at the weather for the next few days, and it's supposed to be cooler.
Mhm.
So we're sitting here going, okay, we've never been to a Disney park in jeans before.
We've never been in March, so
We-
we've
yeah.
always been in
Late
May,
May
June,
and
or
June, July.
May, June, and July.
Late May. So it's even
So
more.
yeah,
So we're kind of concerned that it's going to get too cold if we're just wearing shorts all day long. But maybe it won't. But we'll probably wear jeans for the next.
we're
couple
gonna wear
days.
jeans. Yes, we're gonna be those old people that are wearing
Where's
jeans.
our slacks?
It's okay because I told Kevin I don't care what anybody else thinks.
No. If it was in the 80s, even the high 70s, it would be okay. But some of the days are only going to be in the 60s.
Yeah, if it was high 70s, it would be no issue. I would wear shorts in a heartbeat. But it's not gonna be. It's gonna be.
One day it's starting out at 30, 32, what did I say,
Mhm.
32, 36. At 8 o'clock in the morning when you normally go to the parks, it's only going to be in the 30s.
So I'll be wearing a hoodie all day.
Or,
So
we'll wait, delay. We'll probably delay that day a little bit.
yeah,
Let it
we
warm up a
probably
bit.
won't get there first thing in the morning. And that is a Animal Kingdom day
Yeah.
anyway. And
Which-
the roller coaster, didn't you say it was down?
Everest was being refurbished.
Yeah,
or
Everest
whatever.
is closed anyway, which is the big roller coaster. Now we've never done any of that Avatar stuff.
Yeah, but I'm hoping it being cooler, people won't go to as much.
Oh, they'll go anyway. Yeah, they'll still go anyway. But anyway, so we'll be able to tell you as people that have never been here during the month of March, we're not using Genie because a lot of people have said that it sucks. And
The
they
regular
didn't like-
Genie, where it plans out your day.
Yeah, where it plans out your day and that you're constantly having to look at your phone and that Disney's constantly giving you recommendations. So like you'll be on one side of the park and they're recommending you go to the other side of the park
To ride a ride.
completely to ride a ride. We don't want that. We don't want to be bugged to death. We don't want somebody to micromanage our time. We want to make our own decisions, and so we're just going to do it our way.
We usually just kind of meander around the park and go around in a circle a couple times and ride what we want to ride when we get to it. You know,
Yeah.
we don't stress about it anymore.
No, we really don't. So anyway, it'll just be fun, and I hope you all enjoy it. We'll try to do these wrap-ups every day. That way,
Well, it's fresh in our mind.
yeah, and if anything exciting happens, we'll be able to tell you. I tell you what, one thing I do want to mention real quick before we go. Even though that second flight was late, it was not the pilot's fault at all, and he was an excellent communicator. I loved that.
Yeah, he was on all the time.
First pilot we had, ate the microphone.
And he only said it once. He only talked to us once.
No, he didn't even welcome us onto the plane. So we got on the plane and never knew there could have been children piloting that plane, and we wouldn't have known because he never said hello. He did not talk to us on that first flight until we were getting ready to land. The second guy that drove us, that took us flew us from Detroit to Orlando, excellent communication skills. He spoke clearly. He told us exactly what was going on. He explained about the gas tanks and how there's a gas tank on each side and there's one down the middle and you have to balance them all out. He explained all that to us. He told us what the temperature was going to be like when we landed in Florida and what time it was going to be and all that stuff. He told us at one point that we had turbulence. And he told us that we were going to experience some turbulence coming up because there was some weather. I'm glad he told us because that prepared me rather than us just being shocked going, what the heck's going on? We knew it was coming.
He also said, did you catch when he said, I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign on because we're going to hit some weather and I advise you put the seatbelt on because we're wearing ours up here or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that, he's telling you the pilots flying the plane are putting their seatbelts on. Why wouldn't you?
Right. So I've always want to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, he did a good job.
And he did a good job. He had excellent communication skills. So I think any pilots are watching these videos? Absolutely not. But if you are, just know that the passengers want you to be clear, they want to understand you, and they want you to talk to them. We like it when you talk to us.
Just not constantly because we're trying to watch a movie.
Yeah, and it does interrupt your movie. Every time when you're watching a movie and they cut in to say something, your movie pauses. But we do want to, I would rather know than not know.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing I know before we go. What movie did you watch on the way? And I'll tell you what movie I watched on the way. The first flight, you didn't get to watch any movie. There wasn't a TV.
Oh, I can't remember the name.
The second flight, it was the movie that Bobby took her grandkids to see.
Shang-chi or something like that. Whatever that Marvel's movie is.
That's the one he went to see. That's
the martial arts movie. It was good. I enjoyed it.
And mine, I watched I think it was 2018 Tomb Raider.
Yeah, the old Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider.
It wasn't
not the old Angelina Jolie one.
Yeah, not the Angelina Jolie, the other one. I thought it was really good.
It's good.
I enjoyed it.
It's based off it kind of reminds you of the video games that came out. The new video game.
And just to be blunt, this one was less sexualized. This one was all about how strong and just how tough and resilient she is.
A female character.
And less to do with her sexuality.
That's how the games were too.
Whereas when you get somebody, you can't help it when you get Angelina Jolie in there. I mean, she's gorgeous. And
she had these tight t-shirts on.
Tight t-shirts. Whereas this new one isn't like that.
The old school video games.
Yes, the old school. Yes, they were. Yes, because I used to watch them play.
But the new Tomb Raiders aren't.
Right. So it's just going on. Hey, this is one tough old broad, you know. So anyway, we will try to remember to do this tomorrow. Give you an update.
Unless we're just completely worn out.
At the end of our day 2.